This top was made with just 4 panels that I knitted myself on my Sentro knitting machine. Hey, it's Kat here, and in today's video I'm going to be making a simple top on my Sentro knitting machine, and hopefully you can too, because it's just made with 4 pieces of material. How amazing is that? Grab a coffee or a tea and relax, and I'll show you the process. There are so many of these types of tops in the shops. That rhymed. And I have a reason why I thought I might be able to make my own. Although I've never knitted a top before, last summer I made this thing. We'll call it Florence for a reference. After I made Florence, I thought this is not really an item of clothing. It's neither a waistcoat nor a vest nor a cardigan, but it may come in handy one day, so I kept it. Well, today is that day. I can now use Florence as a template for a new project for a top that I will wear and is a piece of clothing. So all Florence is 4 rectangles sewn together. I've left 2 holes for the arms and then I've sewn up the back. That's all it is. You could kind of call it an Aladdin style jacket. 2 of these rectangles are at the front and 2 are at the back. The only thing we're doing differently here is that the 2 front rectangles are going to have a decrease at the neckline. I'm using a cotton blend yarn for this project, which I will link below. I started off with some waste yarn as always and cast on 34 stitches on the panel setting. I knitted about 10 rows before doing 1 row of a different waste yarn to make it easier to remove later. I got this hack from Snuffle Bean yarn and hopefully it will prove a lot easier later on. I then cast on my main yarn, being careful to go slow at first. I used stitch markers to mark every 20 rows so it was easy to count later, as we were on the panel setting and this machine only has a stitch counter on the tube setting, unfortunately. It also keeps you going when you get to that mid-project slump and you question why you're doing this in the first place, what's the meaning of life, etc. I now know to push through those moments as it's going to be beautiful. I knitted 100 rows and then cast off with waste yarn using the Snuffle Bean method. I did this again to make the other back panel. 2 rectangles done. Then it was time to make the front panels. After many hours of careful calculations, I decided to start decreasing about halfway up, or the 50th stitch. I watched a how to decrease video about 10 times from Cozy Fairy Craft on Instagram. I love her videos as she makes it look so easy. I then decreased every other stitch until I got to the end. I did this again on the other side. I made sure to add waste yarn again. I am so excited for this part. This is where it comes together. I have my 2 back panels and I'm going to take the waste yarn off of the bottom part so we can work with what we got. To take the waste yarn off, I take a look between this row of black yarn and I can clearly see stitches of the main yarn. I take some of the main yarn and use a crochet hook to single crochet through each loop along the row. This picks up all the stitches and creates a nice finished edge. Ready? Oh my god. Wow! Oh my gosh, all I've got to do now is cut the sides. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay, I'm just going to cut these bits off easily. Oh, wow. And that's what the bottom of the vest is going to look like. Oh my god, so pretty. You can even add a border to this, but I'm just going to leave it nice and simple. And I'm just going to do the other side. To sew the back panels together, I used a darning needle and the mattress stitch. Now I'm going to sew the front panels on at the shoulders using slip stitches with my crochet hook. I line the shoulders up with the back and hold them both together and join the row that's in between the black waist yarn. When I get to the neck part, I'm switching to single crochet while carrying on all the way across. When I get to the other shoulder, I switch back to slip stitching. Now, the part I've been waiting for. I got this method from Now Knits on TikTok. She uses a mattress stitch to make an invisible join. This is so perfect if you don't want visible seams. You line the sides up and then use your needle to sew through the horizontal bar in between the stitches. When you put it together, there is no visible join. Now I'm going to sew up the sides until I get to 8 inches up on each side, leaving space at the armholes. Oh my god, I love it so much. As a finishing touch, I neatened up the neckline by slip stitching up both sides. Finally, I blocked the top by soaking it in water and then pinned it down on an old yoga mat and left it to dry overnight. I am really pleased with how this turned out, but there are a couple of things that I would do differently next time. Number one is I would sew across the shoulders instead of the crochet because it kind of sticks up a little bit and I don't want it to jut out like it does. So I would sew it in so it looked nice and flat across the shoulder. The second thing is I would try and be much neater around the neckline because that's the bit that you see the most and it's not very neat at the moment. I feel like there's some jagged edges and bits and bobs. But apart from that, I'm pretty happy with the result and I actually probably would wear this top out. Yeah, I would wear this top out because I love it so much and it's so nice and breathable and it just falls nicely. Please comment below and let me know what you think and if you will make your own. I'll leave the materials link below so you can just go and get them. They're easy to buy on Amazon and I'll leave the knitting machine below as well. Next project, would you like to see trousers to go with this top? So we could do a kind of co-ord set. Let me know because I would actually love to do those and they sound like really comfy because the material's lovely. If you want to see a simple swatch made on the knitting machine in cotton, so you can put it on the machine and see what it will be like before you do the top or anything bigger, then I will leave a link here for you. I'll see you in that video.